Welcome back to another episode of the Growing Our Future in Weekly County Schools podcast. I'm Megan Jolly, Director of Communications, and your host. This podcast is a production of Weekly County Schools in partnership with Forever Communications and sponsored by the Sonics of Weekly County. Today, we're diving into all things early education because, as we all know, learning does not start on the first day of school. We get to offer some really great resources to families in our district, from our Early Childhood Resource Center, which supports kids from infancy to school age, to our high-quality pre-K and kindergarten programs. Plus, we'll be sharing everything you need to know about pre-K and kindergarten pre-registration happening on March 20th from 8 to 5, including why it is so important for you to attend. This episode is packed with practical information that any parent can immediately use to start supporting their kids. We are so happy that you're here, and let's get started. Okay, thank you guys so much for being here this morning. I am so excited for this conversation. I know that we are going to get lots of good practical advice from you guys, and I can't wait for our parents and our community members to hear from it and get to benefit from it. The first thing that I think we need to do is just go around, and if you'll just let us know your name, a little bit about you, we'll get you introduced so that everybody knows who you are.
Okay. You want me to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm Terry Stevenson. I'm the Supervisor of Instruction for grades pre-K through 5th grade for Weekly County Schools.
I'm Karen Fowler. I'm the Pre-K Family School Consultant for Weekly County Schools.
I'm Eva Esther. I'm the Special Education Director for Weekly County Schools.
I'm Tracy Bell. I'm the Principal of Martin Primary School.
I'm Melanie Needham, and I'm the Principal at Dresden Elementary School.
And like I said, this is a great group. I can't wait to hear everything you have to say. Miss Terry, if you want to get us started, can you just give us an overview of what all you deal with?
Okay. Well, we're really excited about pre-K and kindergarten pre-registration on March 20th from 8 to 5 at your local school. It's an exciting day. We are looking forward to parents coming in and meeting a new group of learners. Yes. So we have kindergartners coming from each of our schools: Martin Primary School, Gleason School, Dresden Elementary School, Greenfield School, and Sharon School. Mm-hmm. So it's always an exciting time. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. We've been through this as parents as well. So we know that it's kind of a nervous day for some parents, but it's so exciting to see our kindergartners and our pre-K students come to school and learn so much through the year. And then as they graduate, we get a little teary, but we see so much growth. So we're really excited about that big day, and we just want to answer any questions that parents might have and clear up some misconceptions if parents, may have some wonderings about certain things, and just be a resource for parents. We want to make sure that parents understand that we're a team and that they can always come to us if they have any questions about anything.
Well, lucky for y'all, I am a parent. I'm going to have a little girl starting kindergarten this year, so I have tons of questions. Okay. It was very easy for me to come up with the questions for this episode because it's pretty personal. So, yes. What are the goals for these programs? Like, what are we looking to get out of them for our kiddos?
I think of 3 main goals. So we want to develop our students socially, emotionally, and academically. Those are the 3 big things that we're trying to do in pre-K and kindergarten. Okay. And we want to make sure that parents understand too that it's okay if they feel like their child is not ready. That's what we're here for. Yes. And we're here to help them develop in all 3 of those ways.
And so we're also... I love that we have such an emphasis on meeting the kids where they're at. Yes. And, helping them that understand in those 3 areas, you might be at different levels in those areas, and we're going to help you, kind of fit the pieces into the puzzle to get you where you need to be. Yes. So with the pre-K, a big question that we have is the income eligibility. Yes. Can you shed some light on that for our parents, kind of help them understand what that means?
Okay. So in Tennessee, pre-K is voluntary. It is not mandatory. But we feel like that pre-K is very important for children to be in school as soon as they turn 4 years old. So Miss Karen Fowler and I, every single year, we write a grant to fund that program. So 6 of our classrooms are funded through that grant, and then we have 3 locally funded classrooms as well. So so we have 6 VPK, 3 non-VPK. So that's where our income eligibility comes in, because through that grant, there's a scope of services and some regulations, and the big regulation is that kids have to be income eligible. So that's where that piece comes in. So that's very important, but we want everybody to fill out an application, because there is a possibility that over income children will have a spot as well. So we just don't know that until we see how many kids that we have. And that's another thing too about kindergarten pre-registration, is we need parents to make sure they come on March 20th and get there as early as possible from 8 to 5, because we need to know how many teachers that we're going to hire in kindergarten, and about materials and purchases. Is budget time. So the way that Mr. Couples knows how many kindergarten teachers he has is how many students we're going to have filling those seats. So it's very important that everybody come on March 20th.
Perfect. And we will get into a little bit more about what to expect that day and stuff like that with our principals. And so what advice, if you have parents that are looking to bring their kids into these programs, what's your number one tip for them? What's your advice for them?
I think make sure that they just connect with the school. We want to connect with families. We want to be supportive. If they have any questions about anything, we have Miss Karen Fowler. She is our pre-K family consultant. So she is the first person that they're going to see and have communications with in our pre-K program. And we just want them to feel connected to the school and know that we're there to help.
Perfect.
That's the biggest piece of advice. Reach out to someone if you have any concerns, any questions, anything. We're here for families,
and we want to help you.
We want to help you. Yes.
That's
why we're here.
Yes, I think that's why we're all here on these couches today, because we want to help you understand those things. Thank you so much, Miss Terry. Miss Karen, can we move to your part of it?
Sure.
Okay, so can you you are the pre-K person, the family consultant, and then also you have another section that you deal with as well. Can you explain us a little bit about that?
Well, this year we opened up an early childhood resource center. And actually it came from one of our brainstorming sessions when we were writing the grant for the pre-K program, just knowing that families need resources. But the resource center is really geared towards helping children and families from birth on up through the age 5. So we want to start building those relationships with families early on to help families understand the importance of the early years and child development milestones, and to help them at home prepare children for school.
And teach them how to use those little minds that are like little sponges at that age.
They are.
It's so fun to watch them pick things up and stuff like that. So you get to deal with helping them with activities. What do some of those activities look like?
It could be activities on just promoting fine motor development. I have little toolkits to help show parents how you can work with things at home just to strengthen those skills, as well as the social emotional development like Miss Terry just talked about. Little strategies that we use in our pre-K classrooms. So we like to share those with families so they could use those at home. So I can help guide them through and walk them through some of the things that we do in the classroom, and provide some materials and just some techniques and strategies to use at home.
So very practical, hands-on activities. I think that one thing that I really loved about the program was you're not teaching parents how to be teachers.
Right.
You're not saying, hey, we want you to sit your kids down and we want you to teach them a lesson. We want you to, I saw some of the fun things in your classroom of just, picking up little pom-poms, things like that. That's very easy for them to sit and do while you're talking with your kids. And like you mentioned, some of these activities, what are some of these activities that they might be doing already that they could kind of hone in on?
Well, one thing that we talk about is just having conversations with your children and talking with them, and how important that is. And talking about what they're doing as they're playing, and giving them vocabulary. When you're driving a car, paying attention to the signs and the road signs and the sights that you see, taking nature walks and getting outside, and just helping children understand what you're seeing. And that's so important to help build the foundation. Everything that a parent's doing at home, they're building that foundation. And then we're just going to keep building upon that when they come to school.
And that is just another example of meeting those kids where they're at. We want you to do what you're going to do at home, and then we want to meet you there, and we want to help you with that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that is there are so many resources that our district has, and such an emphasis on,
yes,
it does not matter your level. We just want to help you get better. We want to start where you're at. We want to help you get better.
Absolutely. 100%.
We're not shooting for, perfection. We're looking to help you get better.
Yes.
So, are there any challenges that you see more than others when you're talking with parents?
With parents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of times the fine motor comes up just because maybe in those early years children haven't been exposed to building those muscles in their hands. Sometimes parents think you just pick up a pencil and we start writing.
Sure.
But you know what? A lot of things happen before to be able to allow children to be able to do that, just from tearing paper or squeezing sponges. Those are the things we're doing in pre-K to help build those skills.
Yeah.
So sometimes that can be a challenge. It's not necessarily a challenge, but sometimes we hear that children need to develop some independent skills
Sure.
to help prepare them. And that's one of the things that we work on in pre-K.
Yeah.
But it is important to work on at home as well. Things like putting on your own coat, or even picking out your clothes for the day and having some responsibilities around the home. That can speak volumes to help prepare for kindergarten.
Oh, and we all know little kids love a job. They love a job.
They do.
I know mine do. So same question that I have for Miss Terry, what is your number one tip and you may have already said it, but what would be your number one tip for parents looking to bring their kids into these programs?
Well, I would definitely say we want to build relationships from the very beginning. So if you're a parent of an infant, a toddler, go, and you may think school is long ways away. It will be here before you know it. So we want to connect with families early on to help provide the resources that we have at Weakley County Schools to help give them what they need to get started.
And I think so many of us, you made an interesting point earlier about, we think that we just pick up a pencil. Mm-hmm. But what we don't realize is, when I think of school, I think of learning my letters, learning my colors, numbers, things like that, and helping get them to where they can do those activities to learn their letters, learn their colors, learn those things. That is so important in preparing these kids.
It is. It's the skills that they're getting to learn motivation and problem solving. And so much of what we do in our pre-K settings, they're learning through play, and they need those experiences that are going to, again, we're going to build upon that when they get to school, but they need those opportunities to make decisions and to problem solve and to learn just those motivational skills to accomplish a task.
So when they are coming into pre-K, what does their days look like? What does that day look like for them?
A pre-K day?
A pre-K day. What if just a general pre-K day, what does that look like?
Well, we like to eat.
Hey, we all like snacks.
We like to eat. We have breakfast and we have lunch and we have snack. But in between time, we have a curriculum that we follow that our state mandates that we choose one of three. And we use Connect for Learning in our school system for our pre-K students. So that curriculum tells us what we're teaching each week. So our teachers are going to start the day after we get through with our breakfast. We're going to start the day in movement because we've got to get those wiggles out. We have a lot of
play-based.
Yes. And then we have a large group time that we keep to a reasonable amount of time because we have to remember what's developmentally appropriate for a 4-year-old.
Okay.
We start that time with a story, and then it's a planned lesson that we are following through our curriculum.
Yeah.
And then here comes the play, and we have all kinds of play opportunities through our centers. Our teachers have set up their environments to support that curriculum, to support those learning goals, and they connect right to our Tennessee ELDS, which is our Tennessee Early Learning Developmental Standards.
Perfect.
And those funnel up to kindergarten.
Perfect. So we're building the blocks for them in a way that works for them, in a way that makes them want
in a way that
to
works.
play. And they're learning, and I think that's one thing that is so interesting about that age is that, we all have this preconceived notion of how you learn, but those kiddos are learning all kinds of things. It's so fun to watch.
All kinds of things, and all day long. They
All
are
day
learning
long,
through all of their experiences, inside, outside, while they're at lunch, while they're walking down the hall, while they're in classroom, just reading a book or listening to their teacher. It's all day long.
And there's like I said, there's so many things that they're picking up on that is so also really cool about the Early Childhood Resource Center is that you can help some parents at a, start recognizing those things at a younger age of like, hey, you're already washing dishes. Here's how we can give them some activities that will help them, let's talk about the colors of the dishes, the shapes of the, things like that they can start.
I think sometimes we make it too hard.
Oh,
It's really not intended to be.
Yeah.
Any techniques that I'm going to share, they're going to be easy things that you're probably already doing. They're not going to cost a lot of money.
Perfect.
So it's things that you can incorporate to help, again, strengthen your child, help your child be more prepared for school.
Yes. So how can they, this is a physical place. How do they find you? How can they get to you?
Absolutely. You can actually go to the physical place, which is at the Personal Development Center right here on the Highway 22 here in Dresden.
Perfect.
Or you can contact the Personal Development Center and ask for me, leave a message, and I will get back with you.
Okay. And we will list all of that contact information in our post and in the notes about the show and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So people will have that to be able to reach out with any questions and just get all those sweet kids in there for you.
Yes.
I know you're excited to meet them. And so let's just, in the form of the building blocks, let's shift over to our elementary school principals and our primary school principal. And can y'all just start us off with a brief rundown from the school's perspective of your pre-K programs and your kindergarten classes?
All right. Well, at Dresden Elementary, we have one pre-K classroom. And as Miss Terry said, that is not a required class, but it can hold up to 20 students. And so we enjoy that class filling each year. And then our kindergarten program, we get some students that have participated in that pre-K class and some who are new to our school that are maybe coming from daycare centers, Head Start, home, things like that. And, we look forward to our kindergartners each year and all the learning that they do. And we just want to meet your child when it comes to registration day. If you can't bring your child, it's fine for the parent to come and fill out the paperwork. But that is the first glimpse to get to see what big school looks like, as some of the kids say.
At Martin Primary School, we're fortunate to have 3 pre-K classrooms. It serves our community very well to have that many students come into our building every year. And through that program, we are preparing them for kind of what kindergarten's going to look like. And we do have some daycare facilities in Martin that we also work with to help prepare students as they come to register for kindergarten. And so as students are beginning to come in and register for kindergarten, it's important for parents to know that we understand that it is their first time to be there.
Yes.
We have teachers that are going to be eager to answer questions, to help in any way, because the majority of them have their own children as well, and so they know what that looks like. And they have had that feeling themselves of bringing their child. So on registration day, we would love to have your children to come in, but they will have another opportunity to come in and meet see our school when they come in to have their screening done. So if you can bring your child during registration, that's great. But if not, we completely understand, and we'll look forward to seeing them when they come back for the screening.
So, and like I said, this is a little personal to me. So as a parent, what all do I bring to that? Where do I start? What do I bring?
Well, we have a basic application packet that we would like for you to fill out. And then between registration day and when you actually enroll in August, first of all, we need to collect a proof of residence. Your utility bill would work for that. And then we also are looking for birth certificate, social security card, shot record, and school physical. And so some of those things, like it may not be time for your child's physical yet, but we're working for you to bring as much of that with you as you have.
Sure.
But we will work with you throughout the summer and into the fall, getting those things prior to school starting.
Because it sounds like the most important thing we want is for you to come and let us know you're coming.
Yes.
Let us know you're coming, and we will work with you to get the rest of it, as
Yes.
we can.
Yes.
But the most important thing is getting in the door and
Yeah.
letting us know you're going to be there.
And
Okay.
we do kind of ask that our parents bring their birth certificate when they come for registration day.
Okay.
That and our proof of residence. Because with birth certificate, we do have to have their legal name
Sure.
as they're
Yes.
registering for
Yes.
school.
Great. Yes.
And so we do ask for that. But as far as, just like Melanie said, as far as shots and physicals, we will work with parents throughout the summer.
yeah.
We just ask that we have those things when school starts in August.
Perfect. So, about how long from the time that you come in, about how long are you there? How long does it take, the registration process?
The process is really not that long.
Okay.
There's a few papers that you will fill out
Okay.
to give us some information about your child that you're bringing to Martin Primary School.
Perfect.
So I would say probably
15 minutes, 20
15
minutes.
minutes at the max.
A perfect amount of time for a lunch break, things
Yes,
like that. We can run up.
absolutely.
We don't have to worry about taking a half day off work or anything like that. We can just run up there, get it done, and you do that at your home school,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Then also, we will set up a screener
Okay.
appointment that will be in the following weeks for you to bring your child in a one-on-one setting for their screener. So we'll set those appointment times on registration day.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then so, if we come in that day and we have questions that day, there's someone that all of us worried,
Mhm.
kindergarten mamas, like we have all these questions of what to expect. There's people there that we can talk to that day that's going to help us walk through. Perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely. All of the kindergarten teachers will be there on
Perfect.
registration day to answer questions.
Great.
Myself, my assistant principal, the ladies in the office will be glad to answer any questions that they may have.
Great.
I'm
Great.
sure same
Yes,
at
same.
same at Miss Melanie's
Yes,
office
same.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know that I'm so excited to get to experience this year. This is kind of I feel like as a parent, this is one of your first
It's a
big
milestone.
It's a
milestones.
milestone.
You know, like
Yes.
you have all those
Absolutely.
milestones when they're little up to that first year, up to 18 months, and then you kind of have a gap in time where you don't have you have first T-ball and you have first this, but then pre-registration.
Then you
for
have senior
kindergarten.
year graduation.
Oh, don't we don't want to see me cry on a podcast. Let's
Yes.
not. But yeah, I mean, so I'm excited, and I know that there's a ton of other parents that are excited to see y'all, and I'm so excited to get to experience this. I know everybody else is too. So,
Yes.
that is wonderful. Thank y'all so much. So when you're talking about screening, that kind of leads us into Miss Eva. Can you help us understand kind of how that's going to look?
So a screening process is going to include, so we have school psychologists that will be a part of this process, as well as consulting teachers that will help. So we're going to actually screen children to see where they're at. A lot of this conversation has been, we want to meet you where you are, and we want to see you improve. And so this screener just gives us a baseline for where the student is performing with basic skills, but also some skills that give us some insight on gross motor skills, fine motor skills, pencil grip. Y'all mentioned that a minute ago. So they're going to actually be asked to hold a pencil so that the observer can see what that looks like. So it's a very simple, very quick process where the evaluator just asks questions, asks the student to do certain things, and then the parent is given a form at the end that lets them know how their child performed on that screener, and then they're able to go on with the rest of their day.
So can you give us a couple of examples of some things that they'll ask them in
Sure.
those screeners?
Sure. So
I know you mentioned the pencil.
yeah, so they're evaluating for skill. I can't give exact item examples.
Sure. Yeah.
But again, they're evaluating for things like pencil grip, handwriting skills. Again, if your child doesn't have those skills, it's not something to worry about. It's just a
Yes.
baseline so that we can understand where your child's performing, so that we can meet them where they're at, and then also collect data as we grow so that we can share with you where your child started and where they're going.
Okay. And so this is actually a question for probably everybody over there. What advice would you give to parents on how to prepare them? I know that that's something that we kind of worry about going into. So what advice would you give them?
So one of the biggest things that I want parents to understand is this is not a test
Yes.
to see
Right.
how
I like that we
to
call it a
see.
screener, not a
Yes.
test.
It's
Yes.
a screener. Think of it as whenever you go to the doctor, if you were going to have your eyes evaluated to see your sight, for example. You're not going to study. You want to go in so that they get a true picture of what their ability is to see. Yeah. So the same thing here. This is a screener. There is not this child passed and this child did not. This is where are you performing so that we can help you improve, like we just mentioned a few minutes ago.
Perfect. So really starting to create that puzzle piece of, okay, this is where we can best put this so that we can help.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes. Just to piggyback off what Eva said, I think I don't want parents to panic over the screener, because I know parents do. Because really and truly, it is the screening helps us at school because it gives us a baseline of where your child is starting out. And so, if we have students who are performing academically or on the screening really, really high, or we have students who may not do as well as what their parents may have thought, but there's going to be growth that's going to come from that screening. And so that's why I don't want parents to panic or worry that my child's not prepared because they're going to be prepared. That's why they're coming to kindergarten.
Right, definitely. If we were able to prepare them for it, we may not get a true picture of what their performance is.
I think that is so important to realize as we're talking to our kids about these screeners and stuff like that. Like, this is just, we want to go in there and we just want to let them get to know you. We just want to let them get to know you. And I think sometimes as parents, we get, we want our kids to do the best and stuff like that. So I think that is so important. And I know I'll be remembering that myself. Hey, we just want to go in there and we're just going to meet some nice people who want to get to know you.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's good advice.
Perfect. Yes. Okay. Well, and unless anybody else has anything to add, I think you guys have given us a wonderful overview of what to expect, some resources that we have available, and other things that us parents in the community who have the younger children can kind of start thinking about and applying right away. So thank you guys so much for being here. I know that I have enjoyed this conversation. I know our readers will as well. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
A message from the Sonic Department of Research and Delicioussment.
The best part of the Sonic Strawberry Mangonada Slush con Tajín is probably the sweet strawberry. Oh, the tangy mango. El Tajín. Okay, esto está difícil. Discover the Strawberry Mangonada Slush and many more flavors in the Sonic app.
A message from the Sonic Department of Research and Delicioussment.
Did you know your new favorite burger has hand-smashed patties made to order, hot and melty cheese, and a tangy sauce? How rude of me. Let me introduce you. Try the Double Sonic Smasher and at a half price drink in the app.
You want to live free?
We hope today's episode has given you some practical ideas on how to support your young children. As you heard, our district is committed to helping every child succeed. Regardless of their starting point, we want to work with you to get your kids there. If you or someone you know has a little one, please share this episode with them. Let them know we'd love to see them at pre-registration on March 20th from 8 to 5 at their home school if their child is from 4 to 5 years old. And if they're younger, we'd love to see them at the Early Childhood Resource Center. Thank you so much for listening. And if you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone. Remember, you can catch us on demand on Google Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next time.